Hello, 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 and welcome to the Conservative Poet. Welcome to my live stream that I've been trying to do for the last couple of days. It's been a hell of a week, but I had to come on because it's been a while. I didn't get to send it out to the community because my hands have been so busy, but I'm happy to be here tonight, even if it's just going to be me and the camera. We're going to do this thing. We're going to get it done. So welcome to the Conservative Poet again, Mr. X. Hello, hello, hello. What is it said? Sackafet. Oh, hello. Is it home, folks? For home, folks, Sackafet. Welcome. Thank you for being here. As you saw from my thumbnail, we're going to have a little conversation about Tulsi Gabbard and Kamala. And so I have been thinking about this. I actually had a conversation today with a friend, and in reference to if they pull old Joe Biden to the side, if they pull old Joe Biden out of the way and they put Kamala in, so that means they're going to be looking, because if Trump comes in here and he gives her names and all of these things, they're going to be crying, oh, racism, 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 oh, misogyny, misogyny, and all of that. And of course, you're taking on the black woman, you're disrespecting the black woman, and so therefore she she'll be able to just slide her way through. And if President Trump picks another white male to be on the ticket, then it's going to be, oh my God, the white supremacists against the black woman. And so I'm thinking, well, my gosh, this is going to be bad, bad, bad. Because I mean, back with Hillary Clinton, it was bad, but this will actually be even worse, right? Because the times have changed so much from when Hillary and President Trump went at it. We're in a whole different realm now, because they have, put this blackness, the black girl magic, so far up that you can't criticize the black queen for anything. You can't criticize a black woman for nothing. And so if President Trump has, for instance, a JD Vance on the ticket, or who else? I mean, even Marco Rubio, it would just still be, oh, white supremacist male, even though he's Hispanic. And if President Trump were to have Vivek Ramaswamy, it would be the same thing, even though Vivek Ramaswamy is, not a white male. So either way you go, it would be bad for President Trump. Either way, they're gonna come for him morning, noon, and night. Oh, you're oppressing the black woman. So I think that in order to balance things out, we would definitely need a female on the ticket. Again, old Joe can't do it. Old Joe is having a whole lot, and they're trying to figure out, what are we going to do to get Kamala out there and to pull Joe out. And so President Trump, it would be smart, if that's what they're doing, to have a game plan to say, maybe we should be looking at a female. And when we look at the list of females that, he could potentially go with, I, for one, is a champion of Condoleezza Rice. I think she is a powerhouse that would be amazing. But for whatever reason, I never hear her name out here in the public sphere in this way, as far as a running mate. Like, she's been very quiet. She's been doing her own thing. She's been quiet since she left, her post. But I think Condi would be an amazing one. But if it's not going to be somebody like her, then we would definitely, in my opinion, a Tulsi Gabbard would be like the kind of person we go with, because for one, she has taken on Kamala before, and so therefore that history is there, and we know that Tulsi can handle herself. The Clintons, yeah. I was brushing up on my Tulsi history, and the Clintons really do hate them. Thank you for that. And remember when they were saying she was what was it, Russia? She was something about Russia. Russia had her as a spy. Who knows? But yeah, they really don't care for her. But I think Tulsi would be, even though I understand that she is not one of our, she's got her issues, right? She used to be a Democrat, and I don't think she's a Republican. She's probably an MPA. I don't know what she is. But I do know she has her faults, but she would be a smart pick when it comes to this. And there are other people out there that would really be, a great pick. But tonight we're going to look at what it would look like to have a Tulsi um, Trump ticket. Gabbard, Trump Gabbard ticket. It doesn't even flow? Do you tell me in the chat, does it flow? A Trump Gabbard ticket? It doesn't flow for me. Trump Gabbard ticket. It doesn't flow. A Trump, somebody has a Trump Stefanik ticket. Yeah, she is a beast. She is deadly, that one. So she would be a great pick too. I actually did a poll on the channel about, I don't know, about a month or so ago, and I asked, what out of the women, who do you think? And I had on there Condoleezza Rice, I had Tulsi Gabbard, and Kristi Noem, and I threw Candace Owens in there for whatever reason. I threw her in, and so the feedback was great. Tulsi, I think she did better than anybody on the poll. But it would be interesting to see what a ticket would be like for a female, because we've been talking about all of the men and what guy it is. And if you watch President Trump's rally the other night in the great state of Florida, and I did not make it, you guys, um I'm still in tears because I couldn't make it out there in my own backyard and I couldn't get there. But anyway, there'll be more Trump rallies. And so, but at that Trump rally, he kept playing with us. He kept saying Rubio. He was playing, he was just Rubio. And it was just like, I wonder if it's Rubio, because if it was, he would not really just be throwing it out there like that. I think whoever it is going to be a huge surprise, to all of us. It may not even be somebody who we're thinking about. So, but who knows how Trump thinks? Who knows what's going to happen? But we're going to look at Tulsi Gabbard tonight. And so I just want to put it out there, you guys. Thank you for coming by. And I do have super chats on here. If you're inclined to do so to help the channel, it really does help. And I also have a commercial I'll show a little bit later on. But first, what we're going to do, we're going to have a little fun. Y'all ready for a little fun? And it's been a while since I did a live stream, and I've been having some problems, so I'm taking it not as a video that I've already downloaded and putting it in here. So I'm going to be doing it by screen share. So God help us, this thing goes through without any issues, because I couldn't download videos. I'm having a lot of problems, and your super chats would really help me out with getting a new PC, because that's the problem I'm having. So, all right, so we're gonna play something here. So I'm gonna do some screen sharing. This is my first time doing it this way, so bear with me, friends, bear with. And so we're gonna share. And the first one we're gonna do is we're gonna talk a little bit about Kamala and her history. Let's go. Hold on. All right, how do I get back? Stop sharing this. Okay. That cackling Kamala is something else. So we'll probably play that again just because it's so much fun to watch her cackle on. So I play that part because this is how Kamala Harris is. This is part of her record. And she locked up so many people because of marijuana. We know the story. She locked up a whole bunch of people for marijuana, but she herself was, she was hitting that joint. She was hitting that roach. She was hitting that. She was getting her high on. But she locked up a whole bunch of people, a whole lot of black people that look like her, as they like to slate, the black and browns. She locked up a whole bunch of black and browns, but she was hitting it too, right? She was hitting it. And so I'm going to play another little video here in reference to her. We're going to share it again. And I want to play Cackling Kamala. And we're going to add it to the stage. Boom. Getting better already. And we're going to make this. Yeah, this is good. No, this is good. Yeah, this is good. All right.
And speaking of the system of justice, we are also changing, y'all might have heard that this week, the federal government's approach to marijuana. Because the bottom line there is nobody should have to go to jail for smoking weed. And speaking of the system of justice, we are also changing, y'all might have heard that this week, the federal government's approach to marijuana. Because the bottom line there is nobody should have to go to jail for smoking weed. And speaking of the system of justice, y'all might have heard that this.
Okay, guys, so I just saw that you couldn't hear it. At this point, I'm not sure how to do that, how to fix that. So what I'll do is, if I can't get them to play, I will link it into the description at some point, and you could see it there. But yeah, this is terrible because I'm not sure how to do that or what to do. But that was Kamala Harris saying that that's when they were changing the laws and everything. And so she says nobody should have to go to jail for smoking marijuana or smoking pot. But she locked up about 1,500 people or so for doing just that. She was the hammer, literally the hammer, that was locking up folks for doing what she did. And then she laughed and cackled about it. So just not a good thing. Not at all. But again, they get away with these kinds of things, right? So I'm kind of worried because if you're not hearing what I'm trying to play, it's gonna make this kind of mute if you can't hear, and me not knowing what to do to fix that. The last clip was good. It was the first clip. Also, you heard the last one. The last clip was good. It was the first clip that we didn't hear. Okay, thank you, Mr. X, for keeping me. Okay, so then I feel better about that. So what did I do last time that I didn't do the first time? Okay, I know. Hold on a second. Boy. Okay, well, maybe if I can think about it, I'll figure that part out. So now what I'd like to do is play a clip of the old debate between Tulsi and Kamala, just to refresh our memories of how the two of them went at it at the last debate. Okay, so we're gonna screen share. And yeah, this is not a great way to do this. Okay. Okay, so now we're gonna add her on.
Congresswoman Gabbard, you took issue with Senator Harris confronting Vice President Biden at the last debate. You called it a, quote, false accusation that Joe Biden is a racist. What's your response?
I want to bring the conversation back to the broken criminal justice system that is disproportionately negatively impacting Black and brown people all across this country today. Now, Senator Harris says she's proud of her record as a prosecutor and that she'll be a prosecutor president, but I'm deeply concerned about this record. There are too many examples to cite, but she put over 1,500 people in jail for marijuana violations and then laughed about it when she was asked if she ever smoked marijuana. She blocked evidence. She blocked evidence that would have freed an innocent man from death row until the courts forced her to do so. She kept people in prison beyond their sentences to use them as cheap labor for the state of California. And she fought to keep cash bail system in place that impacts poor people in the worst kind of way.
Thank you, Congresswoman. Senator Harris, your response?
As the elected Attorney General of California, I did the work of significantly reforming the criminal justice system of a state of 40 million people, which became a national model for the work that needs to be done. And I am proud of that work. And I am proud of making a decision to not just give fancy speeches or be in a legislative body and give speeches on the floor, but actually doing the work of being in the position to use the power that I had to reform a system that is badly in need of reform. That is why we created initiatives that were about reentering former offenders and getting them counseling. It is why, and because I know that criminal justice system is so broken, that I am an advocate for what we need to do to not only decriminalize, but legalize marijuana in the United States.
I want to bring Congresswoman Gabbard back in. Your response.
The bottom line is, Senator Harris, when you are in a position to make a difference and an impact in these people's lives, you did not. And worse yet, in the case of those who were on death row, innocent people, you actually blocked evidence from being revealed that would have freed them until you were forced to do so. There is no excuse for that. And the people who suffered under your reign as prosecutor, you owe them an apology.
Senator Harris.
My entire career, I have been personally opposed to the death penalty, and that has never changed. And I dare anybody who is in a position to make that decision, to face the people I have faced, to say, I will not seek the death penalty. That is my background. That is my work. I am proud of it. I think you can judge people by when they are under fire, and it's not about some fancy opinion on a stage, but when they're in the position to actually make a decision, what do they do? When I was in the position of having to decide whether or not to seek a death penalty on cases I prosecuted, I made a very difficult decision that was not popular to not seek the death penalty.
History shows that, and I am proud of those decisions.
Woo! Fiery words from Kamala. Fiery words from Kamala Harris. Oh, hold on. I don't want this thing to start talking. Hold on. God, this is like too much. Okay, so that was Kamala Harris and Tulsi going back and forth. Kamala Harris, actually, she owes the public an apology right now for her disgrace of a performance. Can you imagine if that woman had actually won the presidency? Can you imagine if she was the one in charge instead of Joe? Like, she is such. Look at her work on the border. What work you say, Amanya, on the border? The work that she hasn't been doing on the border? Look at what's happening down there. It's wide open. This is the only thing that they put in her hand, and yet she's unable to execute. She's unable to do anything about it. And you saw she can get very fiery. She can get in your face fiery. But why is it that, she can't get like that with Joe Biden anymore? And she has, remember, on the debate stage, she was there. She was talking to him about, actually, I have a clip of that, of how she was segregated. And as a little child, she had to get on the bus. She had to travel from here to there to there. And it was because of Segregation Joe. Segregation Joe did it. And but then once they decided that they would pick her, that they would give her the affirmative action position of the VP, all that went out the window. Yeah, we was just in campaign mode. Yeah, he was a racist, sure, but we're going to forget about all that. And now he's the best president we've ever had. Now, you guys know she goes on and on about Joe. But she really does have a fire in her. But right now, that fire seems to be out, because if she really wanted to be president, this is her opportunity, because they're going to put old Joe down. Kamala, friend, this is your opportunity to get on that horse, girl. This is your opportunity to be president. But for some reason, Kamala doesn't seem to want the position. In my opinion, I've watched a couple of her interviews, like after the debates, her and Anderson Cooper sat down I wish I thought about that clip. I would have had that too if you hadn't seen it. But her and Anderson Cooper sat down after the debate, like an hour after. Even Anderson Cooper was pushing. He was like, listen, you were on the stage with him 4 years ago. You debated him 4 years ago. Is he the same guy that you're seeing right now? And well, she didn't want to talk about that. All she had for Anderson was like, well, we're not going to judge him on a 90-minute conversation. We're going to judge him on the last 3 years or whatever, 4 years. God, can you believe it's been this long already? We've actually lived through this Biden administration, you guys. Like, I was devastated after the 2020 election. I did not know how I was going to move forward, like with life and with knowing like what's happened to the election. Like, I didn't know how I was going to do it, but day by day, we kind of made it through. And we're almost there. Come November, we would have gone through 4 years under this Joe Biden, Kamala Harris fiasco. Again, 80 million people voted for Joe Biden and Kamala Harris. I'm going to just leave it there. I don't want YouTube to get nasty with me. Okay, I'm going to just leave it there. But yeah, we've gone through this. And Joe Biden and Kamala Harris has literally destroyed this country, literally destroyed it. I mean, when we talk about the border, when we talk about all of this, and when she and Anderson Cooper were having their conversation, I mean, her main thing was that President Trump, is not for, how do they put it? Women's rights or reproductive rights. That's it, reproductive rights. He's not for killing babies in the womb. When we look at how she was saying about the death penalty, when you look at the Black population, and all Kamala Harris is campaigning on is reproductive rights. She was just somewhere recently in some place, and that's what was behind her. Reproductive rights. The conversation with Anderson Cooper. Oh, Trump is against reproductive rights. Look at, he put these judges in, it's reproductive rights. When you look at the Black population and how she was saying that she's not for the death penalty, when you look at the Black population, 13% is where we as Blacks are, 13%, and we are not growing as a community. We are not growing as a population. We are not growing, right? Because the Black vote is becoming smaller and smaller between the genocide in the womb, Black folks killing Black folks in the hood. What else? The drugs. Everybody's on drugs, ODing, and all of that. The Black population is not growing, right? It's just minuscule. And then when you have all of the illegals coming in to replace the Black vote, Blacks are becoming insignificant, right? Insignificant. And so the Black vote is critical. But Kamala Harris doesn't seem to want to grow the Black population because she is really for genocide in the womb, genocide of the Black people. And this is what she's running on. This is her whole platform. Wherever she goes, that's what she's talking about, is protecting women's rights or protecting abortion. But I just beg to differ about when it comes to life, right? It's life. And again, I really didn't come on here to talk about abortion. I really didn't, but you can't help but talk about abortion when it comes to Kamala Harris, because that's what she's campaigning on. That's all she talks about is the genocide. Well, she doesn't say the genocide. She's saying the reproductive rights and so on. But in any event, we're going to let Tulsi have at it again with her. I didn't mean to go on an abortion rant. But let's do it. We're gonna play once again Tulsi Gabbard and what's her name? Kamala. We'll do that. This is a longer video.
Of busing in the 1970s, having benefited from busing when you were a young child. Vice President Biden says that your current position on busing, you're opposed to federally mandated busing, that position is the same as his position. Is he right?
That is simply false. And let's be very clear about this. When Vice President Biden was in the United States Senate working with segregationists to oppose busing, which was the vehicle by which we would integrate America's public schools, had I been in the United States Senate at that time, I would have been completely on the other side of the aisle. And let's be clear about this. Had those segregationists their way, I would not be a member of the United States Senate, Cory Booker would not be a member of the United States Senate, and Barack Obama would not have been in a position to nominate him to the title he now holds. And so on that issue, we could not be more apart, which is that the vice president has still failed to acknowledge that it was wrong to take the position that he took at that time. Now, I would like to also talk about this conversation about Eric Garner, because I too met with his mother. And one of the things that we've got to be clear about is that this president of the United States, Donald Trump, while he has been in office, has quietly been allowing the United States Department of Justice to shut down consent decrees, to stop pattern and practice investigations. On that case, we also know that the Civil Rights Division, this is important, The Civil Rights Division of the United States Department of Justice said charges should have been filed, but this United States Department of Justice usurped, and I believe it is because that president did not want those charges to go forward, and they overrode a decision by the Civil Rights Division of the United
Thank you,
States
Senator.
Department of Justice. Under my administration, the Civil
Thank you,
Rights
Senator.
Division will reign, and there will be independent investigations.
Vice President Biden, I want to give you a chance to respond to what Senator Harris just said.
When Senator Harris was the Attorney General for 8 years,
I'm gonna just stop it there for a second. You see how she's got that fire for Joe Biden, and whenever Kamala pulls out her finger, honey, she's working that black girl magic, and so but she has no smoke like that right now for Joe Biden. I mean, do you want to be president or don't you? Everybody's turning on old Joe. Everybody's turning on him. You know, this is your opportunity to seal the deal. This is your opportunity to take the crown. This is your opportunity to become the first Black woman immigrant president. Yeah, this is your turn to take that title, girl, to make history. Man, can you imagine a Kamala Harris presidency? Tulsi Gabbard said it. We should be very afraid of a Kamala Harris presidency, because if she's going to rule the way she's been ruling her whole 3-4 years that she's been in this position, we're in trouble. She can't even represent us. She can't even represent us on the other side of the pond. She can't even represent us, you know, in foreign countries. Her foreign policy is horrific. It's horrific.
years in the state of California, there were 2 of the most segregated school districts in the country, in Los Angeles and in San Francisco. And she did not, like, I didn't see a single solitary time she brought a case against them to desegregate them. Secondly, she also was in a situation where she had a police department when she was there that in fact was abusing people's rights. And the fact was that she, in fact, was told by her own people, that her own staff, that she should do something about and disclose to defense attorneys like me that you, in fact, have been, the police officer did something that did not give you information that would exculpate your client. She didn't do that. She never.
I'm going to just stop there. Yeah, look at how Joe Biden is right there. This was what? This was 4 years ago, right? Look at how different he looked back then. I know it's only 4 years, but man, he's like literally become like 20 years older. Here you can still see he's still got some stamina. He's still standing up all right. He's still, you know, he can still skip on the words, but look at him. He is in much better shape. It's like, what happened? He is like 20 years different. It's terrible. He had problems back then, but man, he looked a lot better than he does now. I mean, right now it's really bad. Right? It's really bad right now. And they're looking to leave this guy, and he's saying he ain't going nowhere. He said, I ain't going nowhere. But the sharks are circling around him, and that's why I'm just curious as to why is it that Kamala Harris hasn't come out here to take the crown, right? Because she's up next. Why hasn't she come out here to fight for her crown, to fight for this thing? I don't believe that she believes that she can do the job. I'm going to just say that. I don't think that Kamala she doesn't believe in herself to do the job. And obviously we all know she can't do the job, but for her to know that, she'd rather Joe Biden be up there because she can't do the job. So anyway, let's imagine if he was a regular person, he wouldn't be allowed to drive a car. No, he wouldn't. No, he wouldn't. But he can be in charge of the nukes that can blow up the planet, right? He can't, they wouldn't allow, man, he can't even ride a bicycle. He can't might ride a bicycle, but he's in charge of the nukes. And this country is a joke, yo. I just think about what the other side thinks, like Putin and all of them. What do they think about all of this? And George Clooney came out, I think 2 days ago. I'll make myself big real quick. George Clooney came out about 2 days ago to say that Joe Biden needs to, pull back. But back in June, just June, which is just a few weeks ago, they were all behind him. George Clooney did this big fancy fundraiser for him and all of that. They were all good, even though he is the same condition that he was 4 weeks ago when they did their fundraiser. But after the debates, they're like, yeah, it's pretty bad. So we're going to pull out. So everybody is pulling out, but Joe Biden is doubling down, saying he can get the job done. My thing is, who knew what and when? Like, I took some notes because I really wanted to do that. Who knew what and when it comes to Joe Biden? Obviously, 4 weeks ago, everybody knew. They all know. But they would rather put Joe Biden in, knowing that he can't represent us in the grand scheme of things. I mean, are you not afraid for yourself? Aren't you afraid that the Joe Biden can do something with the nukes, like blow up this whole planet? Like, are you not afraid of that? Because I am. But because they hate President Trump so much that they would rather put a corpse in the White House. They would rather stay with the corpse. We all know what a presidency under Trump was. Everybody was doing good until they sent in the reserves, the COVID, until they sent in the reserves, right? We were doing great. But they couldn't let a second presidency come through. They had to get to work, friends. And it didn't matter if a whole bunch of people died in the process. Dr. Frankenstein, Dr. Fauci-Stein. It didn't matter how many people died, right? Because they just could not allow to have Trump in again. And look at where we are now. Look at everything that's happened. Look at everything. Oh, I got a little Trump thing. Let's play it real quick. Let's get back to it.
These people. If you doubt me, Google 1,000 prisoners freed, Kamala Harris.
Thank you, Vice President Biden. And Senator Harris, your response?
That is simply not true. And as Attorney General of California, where I ran the second largest Department of Justice in the United States, second only to the United States Department of Justice, I am proud of the work we did, work that has received national recognition for what has been the important work of reforming a criminal justice system and cleaning up the consequences of the bills that you passed when you were in the United States Senate for decades. It was the work of creating one of the first in the nation initiatives around re-entering former offenders and getting them jobs and counseling.
Thank you, Senator.
I did the work as Attorney General of putting body cameras on special agents in the state of California, and I'm proud of that work.
I want to bring in Congresswoman Gabbard. Congresswoman Gabbard, you took issue with Senator Harris confronting Vice President Biden at the last debate. You called it a, quote, false accusation that Joe Biden is a racist. What's your response?
I want to bring the conversation back to the broken criminal justice system that is disproportionately negatively impacting Black and brown people all across this country today. Now, Senator Harris says she's proud of her record as a prosecutor and that she'll be a prosecutor president, but I'm deeply concerned about this record. There are too many examples to cite, but she put over 1,500 people in jail for marijuana violations and then laughed about it when she was asked if she ever smoked marijuana. She blocked evidence. She blocked evidence that would have freed an innocent man from death row until the courts forced her to do so. She kept people in prison beyond their sentences to use them as cheap labor for the state of California. And she fought to keep cash bail system in place that impacts poor people in the worst kind of way.
Thank you, Congresswoman. Senator Harris, your response.
As the elected Attorney General of California, I did the work of significantly reforming the criminal justice system of a state of 40 million people, which became a national model for the work that needs to be done. And I am proud of that work. And I am proud of making a decision to not just give fancy speeches or be in a legislative body and give speeches on the floor, but actually doing the work of being in the position to use the power that I had to reform a system that is badly in need of reform. That is why we created initiatives that were about reentering former offenders and getting them counseling. It is why, and because I know that criminal justice system is so broken, that I am an advocate for what we need to do to not only decriminalize, but legalize marijuana in the United States.
I want to bring Congresswoman Gabbard back in. Your response.
The bottom line is, Senator Harris, when you are in a position to make a difference and an impact in these people's lives, you did not. And worse yet, in the case of those who were on death row, innocent people, you actually blocked evidence from being revealed that would have freed them until you were forced to do so. There is no excuse for that. And the people who suffered under your reign as prosecutor, you owe them an apology.
Senator Harris.
My entire career, I have been personally opposed to the death penalty, and that has never changed. And I dare anybody who is in a position to make that decision, to face the people I have faced, to say, I will not seek the death penalty. That is my background. That is my work. I am proud of it. I think you can judge people by when they are under fire, and it's not about some fancy opinion on a stage, but when they're in the position to actually make a decision, what do they do? When I was in the position of having to decide whether or not to seek a death penalty on cases I prosecuted, I made a very difficult decision that was not popular to not seek the death penalty. History shows that, and I am proud of those decisions.
Senator Harris, thank you very much. Senator Bennett, a question for you. Why are you the best candidate to heal the racial divide that exists in this country today?
Oh God, it's Donna Lemonade. Donna Lemonade, y'all. I did not even watch this whole thing through. I did not know Donna was on here. Oh my God. Sorry, friends. Just jokes between me and Don Lemon. So Kamala Harris, she's got a lot of smoke for some, but not a lot of smoke for some. So right now she's just handling Joe Biden with kid gloves. She's handling him with kid gloves. We see what the kind of fight she has in her, but she's not trying to take down Joe. So I guess him putting her in as the affirmative action vice president, she owes her allegiance to him. But I think soon we're gonna start to see the push to get her in. And it's going to be undeniable of, you know, what they're going to do, because it's interesting to sit back and watch the Democrats go at each other. You know, they're coming out of the woodworks. They are being divided with this situation in Gaza and Israel. They're being divided. You know, Joe Biden is getting protested left, right, and center at his rallies. Matter of fact, I saw that Joe Biden was in my neck of the woods. She was in Tampa this week, and she was received by a whole bunch of Trumpers out there protesting her. So everywhere they go, they're being protested, you know, and they can't fill arenas like Trump can when it comes to these rallies. I mean, we all saw when the left decides to put on rallies. Look at what happened with the AOC out there in the Bronx. They were trying to mimic what Trump did out there in the Bronx, but unfortunately they couldn't pull it off. They ended up looking like idiots. Well, not looking like, Amanya. They are idiots, as you know, but you know, this is where we are. It's fallen. So I'm going to play you guys one more clip, and this is a more relevant to the conversation that's happening now. And this is going to be Tulsi Gabbard giving her opinion on the current situation happening right now with the party, with Joe Biden and the Democrats. So I'm going to pull that up. And we're going to bring that up.
When did they know it and what did they do? So you're going to see a lot of damage going forward, and they're inflicting it themselves. I think President Trump has played it smart. The Republicans have played it smart. Be quiet. Let the Democrats hemorrhage it by themselves.
Okay, that's former Speaker Kevin McCarthy with us a bit earlier this hour, weighing in on how he sees the game as it's played at the moment now. Democrats turning on President Biden, some of them dividing the party, sending their coalition into disarray. Maine Democratic Congressman Jared Golden talked a lot about the president. He told a newspaper in Maine, quote, "I will not vote for someone if I don't think they are physically or mentally equipped to lead this nation, and I do not know the answer to that question at this time," end quote. Tulsi Gabbard, former Democratic Congresswoman from Hawaii, and good morning to you.
Morning.
Golden also said if Trump wins in November, he's okay with that. Which might be a reflection of his district in upstate Maine, because there are a lot of Trump voters from where he comes from. How do you see it right now, Tulsi? And good morning to you.
Hey, good morning. It's good to see you both. I think it's crazy that it's seen as an act of courage for a member of Congress to say what is so clearly obvious to anybody who's paying attention to the American people. I think what has become very clear to the Democrats is obviously they don't care about Joe Biden. They don't care about the interests of the American people or our country. If you listen to the things that the DNC chair is saying, hey, stop talking about Joe Biden, focus on defeating and criticizing Donald Trump. You hear Bill Maher saying, hey, I'll vote for Biden's brain in a bottle before I vote for anybody else or vote for Trump. Whoopi Goldberg, you hear this same refrain where they don't actually care about Joe Biden. All they care about is defeating Donald Trump, which should beg the question, why? Why don't they actually care about the issues and the interests of the people that matter? They see Donald Trump as the biggest threat to the power of the Democrat elite. And that's a big red flag to all of us, to the American people, that they will do whatever they believe is necessary to try to beat Donald Trump, defying the rule of law, the Constitution, and the interests of the American people.
I feel like with Congressman Golden saying that he needs assurances on Biden's health before he'll vote for him means that he already has his answer on what those assurances are, and he is not reassured. There's also the question then, okay, then if what happens, right? If Kamala Harris were to be put forward as the nominee or even become the president before the election, the headline in the New York Times is, for Kamala Harris, the challenge of getting ready without getting ready. The ABC hypothetical head-to-head matchup of just adults, this is not registered or even likely voters, saying Biden would be 46-47, Trump up just a point, Harris over Trump by 3. Again, that's just adults, not registered or likely voters. So you've been on stage with Kamala Harris. You saw that tension between her and, at the time, former Vice President Biden. Do you think she is getting prepared for this?
First of all, if you are the vice president, your job description is to be prepared to be president on a moment's notice. So the fact that even the New York Times is even raising this question, is she getting prepared or can she get prepared, is very revealing and again shows the truth, something that I have said since 2020 when we were both running for president in that Democratic primary. She is not prepared and is not capable of serving our country as president and commander in chief. She wasn't then and she's not now. That's very, very clear. But also, whether it's Biden at the top of the ticket or if they elevate Kamala Harris to be at the top of the ticket, either way, if the Democrats win, we will see a President Kamala Harris. That is certain. What is also true is, just as we've seen with Joe Biden, who is incapable of serving as our commander in chief today, that will continue with Kamala Harris. We'll see those unelected people who are behind the curtains actually making decisions about our country and our foreign policy will continue to be the ones who remain in power, which makes it so that we as voters are not able to hold them accountable. And we'll continue to see the disastrous policies, both here at home and disastrous foreign policies that have made us less safe, closer to the brink of nuclear war, and on the verge of wars with Russia and Iran and China and North Korea, making us far less safe.
Tulsi Gabbard, thank you for coming on. At one time, you said the country should be afraid of Kamala Harris. That's strong language.
That is still true today.
Wow. Thank you for your time. We'll talk down the road. Thanks.
Thank you.
I'm Steve Doocy.
I'm Brian Kilmeade.
So there you have it. So Kamala is unfit. She's not prepared. And we can see that. She's not prepared. She doesn't seem to, she can't even run the small things that they've given her to do. She can't even do that. Again, we're gonna always go back to the border because she was the border czar. That was her duty. That was her job. Joe Biden was like, you handle that. You handle that. And she couldn't handle it. So we've got a broken country, and we've got a dead body running the country, and putting Kamala in, it'll be another dead body running the country because she's not very talented when it comes to these things. And I mean, she brings up a very valid point, the humanity and all of this when it comes to Joe Biden. It's somebody in the chat said it, elder abuse. And that's exactly what it is. Like, I don't understand how Jill Biden, the doctor, I know she's power hungry and all of that, but man, this woman is wicked. This woman is evil. Really, really wicked and evil, because how do you let your loved one, your husband, be put in such a position like this? It's just not normal. How do you push him along? You guys, I don't know if you saw my video on the debates. You probably seen it by now, but after the debates, they had some sort of after party or something where Jill Biden was with Joe, and she was the one really running the show. You could tell, and he's standing there like he's just standing there, and it was just horrific. And then she was saying, "Good job, Joe. You did good, Joe. You answered all the questions, Joe. Oh, good boy, Joe." It was like, this is the president of the United States of America? Like, this is a corpse being handled by his wife like he's a good little puppy, like a good little baby. It's crazy. It just brings me again to when the people across the pond is watching this, watching us. It's horrific. Anyway, it's just a bad thing. So you guys, I'm going to wrap this up. I want to say thank you very much for your support, for coming through tonight. Hoping I will be able to get back out here, get my equipment together so I can continue to do the live streams, because I really do enjoy doing them. And it really, especially right now, since I'm working a campaign and I'm constantly at events, like every day is an event. And then to try to produce a video, which takes me longer than when I can just come on here and do a live stream. I mean, I still have to prepare for them, grab the clips that I want to incorporate. But, it's a little bit easier with the live stream. And when the computer is working properly, because I can then download the video and I don't have to go back and forth like screen sharing, like the nightmare that we had to do tonight. But I didn't want to not do it. So it is what it is. So I will end it here. I will play my commercial, and then I will leave off with President Trump doing his dance. And that's going to be it, friends. So thank you guys. What do we have in the chat? Jill was talking to him like he was 3. She sure was. Bonne nuit. C'est vrai, merci. Thank you. Thank you for coming through, Mr. X. Mo Reese Delk, thank you for coming through. Hello, Trump 2024, of course. Is any of you guys here on the chat right now? Any of you make it to, are you in Florida? Anybody make it to the rally this week? Anybody? Well, maybe not. Any event. Anyway, God bless and keep you guys. I'm gonna play us out of here. And I'm going to start off with President Trump. IMCA. Thanks, guys.
Hello, fellow patriot. I am super excited to present to you our patriotic candles. Yes, patriotic candles. And some of them say we are going up in flames under Joe Biden. And yes, burn your fire for freedom. And so if you are interested, I have them on sale. 30% off is the sale, and you can get all 5 different scents. We have white sage and lavender, cotton, cinnamon, vanilla, and so many more. Apple. So go over to orlandopatriot.com and grab yourself some candles and burn them for the 4th of July.